Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of the leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in this county and the Republic of Kenya. Let your blessings descend upon us here, assemble, and grant that you treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Orders of the business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, papers.
Next order.
Order number 5, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, Governor's State of the County Address.
Honorable members, let us therefore give the opportunity His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Stephen K. Sang, to address the House, and we stick to the standing order. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker Joshua Kipto, the Deputy Speaker Wilson Sang, Leader of Majority Honorable David Koech, Minority Leader Eliud Kirongo, Honorable Members of the County Assembly, ladies and gentlemen, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to take this opportunity to thank His Almighty God for keeping us healthy and safe for the last 1 year. I wish, as we look back over time, we have reason to offer gratitude and state our hope for a better and brighter future as the leadership of the great people of Nandi. Honorable Speaker, since this is my first address of this Honorable Assembly in this year, may I wish each and every one of us Happy New Year. We have indeed made progress and kept our steps in the right direction. As such, Nandi County was recently ranked second by the Office of the Ombudsman among the leading transparent counties in the country over proactive disclosure of government information to the public. The tremendous success and the strides that we have made within this short period of time is remarkable and is a testament of the collective and patriotic efforts from all of us in the executive, as well as the tireless efforts and work by members of this County Assembly. In this financial year, Mr. Speaker, we are finalizing on some of the development projects that we have initiated. In addition, Mr. Speaker, key flagship projects which are outlined in our county integrated development plan have already taken off. Mr. Speaker, at the onset of my administration, I pledged to prioritize improvement of health services and increase access to quality health care. I am glad to report that our government has managed to turn things around within the health sector. We have ensured constant supply of drugs and other medical supplies, and the patients are now being treated in health centers, dispensaries, relieving the pressure from County Referral Hospital. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, specialized treatment in terms of dialysis and the MRI services are now available at Kapsabet County Referral Hospital. This has greatly reduced the distance patients from Nandi County have had to cover to access these critical services. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, we have just completed the construction of a new theater at this facility, and the installation of a CT scan is ongoing. This will be operational in the next 3 weeks. Mr. Speaker, we have also acquired an oxygen plant for County Referral Hospital, which will be installed in the course of next week. Patients in critical conditions and children in wards will now have oxygen supply by their bedsides. This will reduce, Mr. Speaker, the deaths brought about by respiratory complications and lack of oxygen for the other critical medical procedures in our facilities. Mr. Speaker, in Nandi Sub-County Hospital, an additional theater is being completed to ease access of services. The expansion of the outpatient department to increase spaces for consultation services is ongoing and expected to be completed by end of next month. Mr. Speaker, the power upgrade and standby generator at both Kapsabet and Nandi Hills hospitals are now fully operational. This therefore means that the frequent interruption of service provision due to lack of power during power blackouts in the two facilities is now a thing of the past. Emergency response is a critical element of healthcare provision. And towards this, Mr. Speaker, we are procuring 10 ICU-type ambulances that will be fully equipped to offer critical care to patients while on transit. This, Mr. Speaker, is a great development in our health sector. 20 facilities, including health centers and dispensaries across the county, are also for renovation and facelift. All these initiatives are meant to bring healthcare service provision closer to the people. In our resolve to ensure continued service delivery, we have employed 2 specialist documentation of the CBA has ensured that healthcare provision remains uninterrupted in our health facilities, which is not the case in other counties across the country. I thank all the cadre of staff of achieving universal healthcare. Mr. Speaker, agriculture remains the backbone of our economy, the solid foundation of the county's prosperity. Agribusiness, Mr. Speaker, and agro-processing are the engines that will turn around our economy, and as such, my administration continues to give this sector the attention it deserves. This sector, Mr. Speaker, is an important component of President Uhuru Kenyatta's Big Four agenda. In this regard, my administration has prioritized the institution of modern farming techniques and diversification that has seen dairy farmers and horticulture take center stage in our economy. For instance, Mr. Speaker, we have focused on improving breeds through subsidized artificial insemination program. Artificial insemination services are now fully operational, and I am glad to report that AI kits have been supplied to various dairy cooperative societies to help respective members of those cooperatives to improve on their dairy breeds. Similarly, Mr. Speaker, my administration has collaborated with national government and other stakeholders to support active dairy cooperatives with milk chilling tanks to reduce milk losses and increase milk sales by our farmers. To date, A number of cooperatives have benefited from this initiative, and more will follow. Mr. Speaker, we are setting up a milk processing plant at Kabiyet as we have moved towards value addition of our milk that will increase earnings to our farmers. The contractor, Mr. Speaker, for the plant structure has already moved to project, Mr. Speaker, will have ripple effects that will influence the process of economic empowerment. Cooperative societies have since been mobilized to join the Nandi Dairy Cooperative Union to attain milk bulking. In 2017-2018 financial year, Mr. Speaker, we completed version of, and we are doing an additional 60 in this financial year. This is worth noting that the risk that we recently, it's also not worth noting that we recently undertook a massive livestock vaccination exercise under subsidized terms. This livestock disease surveillance is aimed at controlling the deadly epidemics within our livestock sector. Mr. Speaker, as a county, we have also identified French beans as a potential income earner for farmers due to the high demand both locally and internationally. Our partnership with Meru Greens has so far seen over 1,000 farmers engaged in farming, in contract farming. This has since culminated in the establishment of a 10 metric ton cold room at Imaki, which I commissioned this morning in the presence of members of this honorable house and the Dutch ambassador to Kenya. The partnership with the Agriculture Sector Support Program, ASDP, and the National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Project, NARIC, we want to ensure that we increase agricultural productivity and profitability of targeted rural communities in our county. The areas of focus are implementing value chains of dairy, Irish potatoes, indigenous chicken, fish, and maize farming. The cash crop sector has not been left behind, building to farmers on marketing strategies, financing, trading and export logistics, and market intelligence. Mr. Speaker, one of our flagship projects is the establishment of a textile and apparel unit. As you are aware, honorable members, we signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Rivertex East Africa Limited towards the implementation of this project on the textile land and handed over to Rivertex for the same project. Already, Mr. Speaker, there is a tender advert towards the construction of the textile training and production unit. We have also advertised for the acquisition of equipment same. The whole project implementation will be done under the terms of the MOU that we signed between us and Rivertex. Further, Mr. Speaker, we want to ensure that businessmen and women operate in conducive environment. To this end, my administration has constructed and rehabilitated several county markets in the financial year 2018 and 2019. The construction of Kapsabet and Nandi Hills Bus Park is nearing completion. Mr. Speaker, as you all know, the county prides itself as a source of champions, particularly in athletics. This is a resource we tend to nurture, and replenish at all times. We remain focused, Mr. Speaker, on developing athletics talents through improvement of sporting facilities. And is expected to be completed within the next 4 months' time. I am also pleased, Mr. Speaker, to report that the Deputy President has reiterated the national government's commitment to complete the construction of Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Kapsabet here. Mr. Speaker, we have also, under the education sector, we have recruited 400 ECD teachers with an aim of ensuring that our children access quality education in an appropriate. We have disbursed 42 million to students in secondary schools, vocational training centers, and those with special needs. The remaining 18 million will be disbursed to university and college students in the next quarter, which is the next 1 month. We have put in place measures to ensure that deserving beneficiaries access the funds, Mr. Speaker. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, to mention that all the bursaries that honorable members in this house awarded to the students, none of the checks bounced. All the bursaries got to the students, and those peddling any other narrative should be advised. Vocational training, Mr. Speaker, plays a great role in equipping the youth with the relevant skills and attitudes that would enable them gain employment. The national government, Mr. Speaker, has introduced a grant to all youth who have enrolled in vocational training centers. Each student, Mr. Speaker, is sponsored to a tune of Kenya shillings 15,000. We have also rolled out an aggressive campaign for more enrollments of the youth in our county into these centers. In our supplementary budget, Mr. Speaker, we also allocated resources for the completion of 13 vocational training centers across our county. And Mr. Speaker, this is a big number looking at the current numbers. That means we will have over 20 vocational training centers in our county. Mr. Speaker, following the conferment of a charter to Kapsabet Municipal Town Municipality, we have received a total of 177 million Kenya shillings under the Kenyan Urban Development Support Program. This will be used on a number of projects, including waste management, improvement of the road network, street lighting, pedestrian walkways, drainage improvement, juakalish and boda sheds within the municipality. This, Mr. Speaker, will reduce the number of grass-tight boda sheds within the municipality. We have also, Mr. Speaker, benefited from the urban institutional grant of Kenya shillings 40 million that was meant towards capacity building. Mr. Speaker, my administration has embarked on water sector for prioritization, as he earmarked the water sector for prioritization in resource allocations with the objective of increasing sustainable access to clean water within our county. To this end, Mr. Speaker, we did acquire 2 drilling rigs to hasten the process of sinking boreholes where appropriate. The inaugural borehole was successfully sunk at Taboyat in Nandi Hills. And Mr. Speaker, this is our first borehole that was successfully sunk in Nandi Hills sub-county. Our hydrologists, Mr. Speaker, have already mapped out 26 other locations where pilot drilling will be done. We are engaging partners and working closely with national government in harnessing and managing this scarce resource. Our objective is to provide reliable water supply and establish sustainable urban sewerage systems to further modernize and create conducive business environment in our towns. We urge the national government to fast-track the implementation of Nandi Hills Water Project and the Keben Water Project in both in Nandi Hills sub-county. Honorable Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, our County Public Service Board or our County Public Service is putting in place programs aimed at managing and empowering human resources in our county. These programs, Mr. Speaker, include the development of county internship policy that saw an internship program rolled out. These have so far benefited over 200 youth who will now gain skills and work experience, thus enhancing their chances of employment. We have also extended, Mr. Speaker, only last week, we extended job contracts for over 1,300 workers whose initial one-year contract had expired. Their terms and conditions of service have improved. Hence, we expect, Mr. Speaker, sir, enhanced service delivery to the residents of Nandi from these motivated staff. Mr. Speaker, the automation of systems and ICT integration across all departments is providing an environment of efficiency in service delivery. The rollout of the Health Management Information System will enable the health sector improve the quality of care, patient satisfaction, improve revenue collection, and reduce healthcare costs. The procurement of the hardware and the data center is ongoing, and the pilot program is expected to be operational by the end of March this year. Mr. Speaker, revenue collection system is also being upgraded to ensure that we improve on our revenue collections and utilizations thereof. Mr. Speaker, our government is committed to accelerating development through the empowerment of women in society. Thus, Mr. Speaker, we have initiated the program Korge Arise, spearheaded by our Deputy Governor, Dr. Yulita Mitei. Women under this program are now have an opportunity to be trained on various topical issues like education, nutrition, family values, poverty eradication, women empowerment, and issues surrounding medical issues, among others. Through the program, Mr. Speaker, a number of women have already been trained on entrepreneurial skills to strengthen their financial muscle in their families. We have partnered, Mr. Speaker, with Hope for Change in Kenya to also ensure women attain economic independence geared towards boosting societal economic growth. The sponsor a HEIFA initiative targeting women groups through distribution of heifers is empowering and touching the lives of women under this program. These programs, Mr. Speaker, will ensure women attain economic independence and boost societal economic growth. Mr. Speaker, our road network continues to expand, and its arteries have reached far and wide in the rural settlements that had remained unreachable. Road construction machines under the county government program and also the hired equipment have opened up new roads which have been dosed. Some have been graded, others have been graveled, while others have been compacted to ease movement of goods and people within our county. So far, Mr. Speaker, we have graded over 750 kilometers, graveled 320 kilometers, and opened up 150 kilometers of new road within our county. Mr. Speaker, we have also done several bridges, culverts, footbridges to connect our people living on either sides of our rivers and streams. Our engineers, Mr. Speaker, have devised and supervised drainage systems that prevent flood from damaging our roads. This process, Mr. Speaker, is ongoing, and we hope we should be able to escalate in this financial year as we install our culverts across our roads. Contractors, Mr. Speaker, have played a major role in the road construction sector in our county. And I want to give my commitment to this Honorable Assembly that we will endeavor to pay our contractors and suppliers on time as much as possible. However, Mr. Speaker, I want to make it crystal clear, anyone who seeks to work for the people of Nandi must be ready to deliver quality work. There is no compromise, Mr. Speaker, about the quality of work that needs to be done. Last year, Mr. Speaker, we launched the Land Rights and Land Justice Program in Nandi Hills. This was a multi-pronged approach towards addressing present and historical land injustices in our county once and for all. One of the approaches that we did as a county was to prepare victims for various injustices programs to present their claims to the National Land Commission. The commission, Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, held sittings in Nandi to listen to a number of the claimant groups, with the Nandi County government being admitted as an interested party in virtually all the cases. Today, I am happy to report to this House, Mr. Speaker, that the National Land Commission has made its findings and recommendations and proposed redress on a number of these claims. The Commission has allowed some of the claims and made far-reaching directives and recommendations. Notably, Mr. Speaker, the Commission has ruled that the former and the current Kimondi forest squatters, the Tindret Forest Dorobo squatters, the Kosabey and the Pemja community be settled. the Kenya Forest Service has been ordered to complete the degazettement process, excision and survey of the promised parcels of land for the purposes of settling the claimants. Mr. Speaker, Kimasa's Cooperative Society members also have a reason to smile after their claim against Eastern Produce Kenya and the Chief Land Registrar was allowed by the Commission. The Commission has ruled that all the resultant subdivisions were done illegally and should be cancelled. The LR number 9285/2 has been given to Kimasa's Cooperative Society Limited, and the Chief Land Registrar has been directed to implement this decision. Perhaps, Mr. Speaker, the most significant finding and recommendation of the National Land Commission is that which concerns the Talai clan. After 113 years since the murder of our hero Koitalel Sam Arap Samoei and the forceful transfer of the Nandi population from their fertile land, a constitutional body has ruled that a resurvey be done on lands held by tea estates to establish if there is any residue to be held in trust for the community by the county government for public purposes. The National Land Commission has also directed that a scholarship fund to educate the Talai children be set up by the multinational companies holding that land. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, the Commission directed that the county government and the multinationals do sign an MOU for multinationals to provide public utilities to the Nandi community. Further, Mr. Speaker, National Land Commission recommends that renewal of leases of this land to be held in abeyance until an agreement is reached with the county government of Nandi. Mr. Speaker, with regard to the rates and rent on such lands, the Commission recommends that they be enhanced to benefit the county government and the residents of Nandi, at the same time reiterating that all 999-year leases be converted to the constitutional requirement of 99 years. Regarding the various claimant groups in the Sugar Belt, the National Commission recommends that the Privatization Commission do consider setting aside land to settle some of the squatters from the Nandi community. Regarding various claimants groups in the Sugar Belt, the National Land Commission. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, regarding the various claimants groups in the Sugar Belt, National Land Commission recommends that the Privatization Commission do consider setting aside land to settle the Titan squatters Timur Nandi Community, Nyando Valley Association, and Nandi Kaburwo Council of Elders. The commission advises the Nandi Royal Trust to await the establishment of the Independent Boundaries Review Commission as proposed under the County Boundaries Bill 2015, so as to present their claims with regard to the county boundary. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, in summary, it is encouraging to observe that out of our efforts and those of the various claimants, National Land Commission has largely agreed with us on the many aspects of present and historical land injustices meted out against our people. My administration is committed to ensure that we work with the various stakeholders cited by the National Land Commission, namely the Kenya Forest Service, the Chief Land Registrar, the multinational tea companies, and the Privatization Commission to ensure that these rulings and recommendations are fully implemented. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate our commitment and dedication as a county government to the service delivery to the people of Nandi. Personally, Mr. Speaker, I pledge to continue working tirelessly with this honorable House for the better of the lives of the people of Nandi. God bless Kenya. God bless Nandi County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Asante sana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to lay on the table the address of the governor this day, 27th day of February 2019.
I acknowledge tabling of the governor's state of the county address. The same will be discussed in the next 3 sessions. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order number 24, Part 5, I wish to give notice of the following motion. That the thanks of the County Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of the governor. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 9, adjournment.
Honorable members, as we adjourn, we kindly proceed to cottages for our 4 o'clock tea together with the governor. So you're all welcome straight after this. The House stands adjourned until the next session.